Okay, we're going to talk today about the way bass fishing's changed. I'm one of the old guys that are a few of us still left around that still participate actively in the sport, but I've been at it since 1967. I came back from service and got my first rod and reel and joined a bass club in Chattanooga, Tennessee called Chattanooga Bassmasters. We weren't there but I wasn't a member but a couple of months before Ray Scott came to us and asked us if we'd be the first club to affiliate with bass. We did. It cost us $1 a man back then. Back then, nobody knew much about the sport. We were all just learning and trying to teach each other. And worm fishing was just coming into its own at that time. We used a 684 Fenwick blank that was custom made with a Browning pistol grip handle on it, with an ambassador reel, a red one, with 5-to-1 ratio with 20-pound test line, and we used hooks about that big. I wish I had one with me. I still have some of the old hooks at the house. And the man's jelly worm. And of course, there were 3 colors of it. There was black grape, there was blueberry, and there was strawberry. And all 3 of them supposedly caught fish. Well, I got me a pack of those worms and went to the river lots of times, a lot of times in the lake, and it took me 6 months before I ever caught my first fish on a worm. Number one, I didn't know I probably had bites and didn't know it because nobody taught me. We were on our own. We had to learn by doing. But the theory back then was when you throw the worm out and you pull it real slow, and when you got a bite, you'd push the button, open the bail, and free spool the line. And the fish would swim way out in the lake or halfway across the river or something, then you'd engage the reel, take up the slack, and jerk. And that was the theory originally on worm fishing. Well, of course, today we know if you feel something, that's usually too late most of the time. You've already missed him. But the best theory today is if you think you got a bite, set the hook. Hook sets are free. But the sport's changed a tremendous amount. Those techniques went away, and it's amazing how baits change. Most of you know what a speed shad is. Most people do. The speed shad was a mainstay forever. Today it's real hard to get a bite on it. And actually it was such a popular bait that Bomber at one time discontinued it, and they started to remanufacture it again. That's also an interesting bait. I moved to Virginia in 1975 from Tennessee. I'd never heard of a speed shad. And we used a bait down there called a thin fin, which looks very similar to a speed shad. And we caught a lot of fish on it in Tennessee. I thought to myself, well, I'll just wear these fish out in Virginia on this thin fin. Wrong. They don't hit it very well. But the speed shad was the king in this part of the country. So I said, well, I go back to Tennessee and fish with some of my buddies down there, and I'll have some of these speed shads and wear them out. Wrong again. They wouldn't bite it in Tennessee. So baits are regional in a way. I can't swear up and down they wouldn't bite it down there, but most of the times that I did fish it in Tennessee lakes, I didn't have any success with it. Today, I guess that's one reason new techniques come out and new baits. The fish, I honestly have become to believe they get accustomed to certain baits, and I don't think they hit them as well as they used to. Prime example of that is a jig. A jig was my mainstay for many, many, many years. I won tons of tournaments on it on Smith Mountain, Bugs, Gaston, and other lakes in the state of Virginia and elsewhere. Today, the jig bite's not like it used to be. I mean, it's hard to get a jig bite anymore. I don't know what the problem is other than the fact that crawfish aren't shallow and not but abundant like they used to be. That's what I think the problem is, but that's just a guess. Tournament scene's really changed a lot also. There's lots and lots of young faces out there today, and these guys are really, really good fishermen. They know the techniques, they know the baits, they know how to use them, they know where to put the bait to get the bite. These guys have been fortunate to be able to get in boats with people like myself and a lot of the older guys that had to learn on their own. We actually didn't have anybody to teach us. It was it was a do-it-yourself project, basically. You had to experiment, and if it worked, then you had to remember what you did and how you did it. So the younger fellows today, they're much sharper, and they pay attention, and they learn quick. So it's made the tournament scene a lot tougher for us older guys. It's hard for us to change at times. I still get lucky every now and then to catch fish, though. Gentlemen, that's my take on bass fishing and the way I grew up enjoying and learning and enjoying the sport. I hope there's some tips in here that may help you. If not, I don't mind you calling me or checking with me at the tackle box, or Brian or myself at thebasscast.com.